People often overlook the importance of the home site, and there's a lot to consider when you're looking for that perfect piece of property. The right home site could drastically increase the value of your home, but the wrong home site could be a complete disaster. Hi, I'm Ty the Real Estate Guy, and if you'd like to stay up to date on the latest home building tips and trends, subscribe to my channel below and ring that little bell to be notified each time I post new videos. Choosing a home site is an important decision that you shouldn't take too lightly. So today, I'm going in depth on how to select the best home site, and you'll probably be surprised by how many things you need to consider before you make a final decision. Selecting the wrong home site could cost you tens of thousands of dollars and not allow you to use the property the way you planned. Before we get going, I'd like to make sure you understand some terminology. I usually call the parcel of land designated for a house to be built on the home site, but many people call it a lot. So if the salesperson uses the term home site or lot, they're simply referring to the different plots of land designated for each home to be built on. So today, I'll give you the top 10 things you need to consider when choosing a home site. And just so you know, the last item on my list could save you from a lot of heartache, so you'll want to watch to the end. Number 1, the size of the home site. Most people I meet who are looking to build a home tell me that they want a large home site. First, I need to figure out what they mean by large. To some people, a 0.25 acre lot is large, but to others, 0.25 acres is way too small. The bigger the home site, the more expensive it will be. So for several reasons, bigger isn't always better. You want to take some time and envision how you want to use your yard or your home site before you commit to building a house. When you know how you'd like to design your home site, then you can select a lot that is the right size. What do I mean by right size? Well, you may not want a lot that's too big because maintaining a huge yard can be time consuming and expensive. But if you select a home site that's too small, you may be forced to move, or you may just have to live without. The reason I'm talking about the lot size first is because many of the other things I'll be talking about in this video tie to the size of the home site. You'll really want to think ahead and plan how you want to use your yard, and this leads me to number 2, future development. What is your lifestyle? What is important to you? My beautiful wife and I chose to build a house further from the city where we found a 2-acre lot in our price range. That way, as time passed and as we saved more money, we could add the important features that would enrich our lives. We like the quieter lifestyle away from the city. We wanted space for an RV pad and a fire pit area where we could gather with friends and family. We also wanted a garden and a walapini, aka an underground greenhouse where we would have the ability to grow our own fresh produce. Yes, I have citrus trees in northern Utah, and yes, I have a YouTube channel where I talk about my underground greenhouse. I'll put a link to this channel below if you'd like to check it out. On a grander scale, I've always dreamed about having a swimming pool and a basketball court. So I knew that I need to have enough space to add these features as money would allow. But maintenance on a large home site is tough. Not only does it take a lot of time to build out and maintain the 2 acres, but it's a huge financial burden. And this goes back to what I was saying earlier about finding a home site that is the right size. That being said, I've seen people buy a large home site as an investment. As time passes, the value of real estate increases. Years later, you could subdivide your home site and possibly pay off your house. So I'll ask again, what is your lifestyle and what's important to you? Number 3, the cost. As I mentioned earlier, the larger the home site, the more expensive it will be. To save money when building a home, most people choose to go with a home builder who has purchased a large parcel of land like you see behind me, offering many different sizes and shapes of home sites. Though some builders will pack the homes in just as tight as they can, offering tiny home sites. This works great for those who don't care about having a large yard. Some people actually prefer to save money that must be spent on landscaping, and many others are stoked to have very little yard work. That being said, most home builders will build out communities offering home sites in the 0.12 to 0.25 acre size range. Most builders will add what they call lot premiums to the larger and better home sites. So the best or biggest home site in the community could easily cost you tens of thousands of dollars more. Because most people who build a home have a budget, getting the biggest or best home site may force you to build a smaller house or add fewer upgrades. And that's why a lot of people don't select the largest home site in the community. Number 4, your home. Yes, you'll need to know what type of home you'd like to build before you select a home site. If you want to build a rambler, you'll need to purchase a larger home site than if you were to build a 2-story home. Why? Because if you're looking to get similar finished square footage, a rambler will have a much larger footprint, which means you'll need a larger and usually more expensive home site. This is why many young people choose to build a 2-story home instead. The other thing to consider is that when you build a 2-story home, instead of a rambler, the house will take up less space on the home site, giving you a larger yard. It's just something to think about. Number 5, interior lot versus corner lot. Which is better? Well, that depends on you. A lot of people prefer a corner lot because it gives them some open space, at least on one side of the house. Corner lots also give you loads of extra street parking if you like to party or have large gatherings. The disadvantages of a corner lot include things like loss of precious, usable yard space. Often, the city will put a sidewalk in front of most homes and along the sides on your corner lots. Unfortunately, you can't fence in that section of your property, so you kind of lose some of that usable yard space. And it is your responsibility to maintain that portion of your land. This is a major reason many people prefer to go with an interior lot. You can select a smaller home site, but get a bigger yard. Before I continue, can I ask a quick favor? Will you please give this video a thumbs up? I would appreciate that more than you know, and that thumbs up will help others see that this video is helpful. Thanks. Number 6, easements. An easement is a part of your property that gives someone, usually the city, the right to legally use a portion of your land. The sidewalk in front of your home is a perfect example. It's an easement because people are allowed to use that area and you cannot fence it in. Another example of an easement would be the horse trail behind my house. I'm not allowed to develop or fence in the 10 feet of property along the rear of my home, but I still need to maintain it. Because I don't have horses, that kind of sucks. I've also seen properties where the city has run power, water, or sewer lines underground on a portion of the home site. The person that buys this lot cannot plant trees or build anything like a shed over this portion of their home site. So you may want to confirm that there are no easements on the home site, or at least understand what the easements entail before committing. Number 7, lot direction. What direction do you want your home to face? In places where you get a lot of snow, a lot of people don't want a north-facing home site because the sun doesn't hit the front of their house during the winter. On north-facing lots, the snow tends to pile up and the ice doesn't really melt. My home site faces south, and sometimes I won't even need to shovel my walks after a snowstorm, and my neighbors across the street who face north don't have that same luxury. Most people prefer a west-facing lot because their home shades their backyard in the evenings, making their backyard more usable for barbecues and gatherings. Number 8, the shape of the home site and the building envelope. Most home sites are square or rectangular. Generally, this is the type of home site that I recommend, but there can be some huge advantages to odd-shaped lots. For instance, a home site in a cul-de-sac will be pie-shaped. In this situation, you'll get a small front yard, but a huge backyard. This sounds like a huge win, but there are some major disadvantages. For one, parking is limited because you have very little space in front of your home. You may lose the ability to add a 3-car garage, and the home most likely will need to be pushed back on the home site. Why? Because each lot has what they call a building envelope. The city will decide for each community how much space they want between the houses and how far they want each home to sit back from the street. So you'll have setbacks to the rear, to the sides, and the front of each lot. These regulations could hurt your ability to build the house you want on the lot you want. So before you commit to a specific home site, make sure the house you want to build will fit within the building envelope of that home site. Always consider how the shape of the lot could help or hurt your future plans. Number 9, slope of the lot. Pay close attention to the slope of the home site. Sloping has caused major disputes between neighbors, and even a gradual slope towards your own home could cause major damage. Why? Because water likes to run downhill, and a huge rainstorm could send hundreds or thousands of gallons of water and mud into your home or onto your neighbor's property, causing major damage to their landscaping or their home. And just so you know, you are responsible for the sloping of your lot. In other words, you need to make sure that the water is running along your property line out to the street where it can drain away from your neighborhood. Usually home builders will install a retaining wall if there's a slope. But if you purchase a lot on your own, installing a retaining wall could easily cost you tens of thousands of dollars. There are some great things about having a sloped lot though, especially if you live in an area like Utah where homes have basements. If the lot slopes off from the front to the back, you'll get a daylight or walkout basement. So when the rear of the home is open to all that natural light, the basement becomes much more enjoyable to use. Number 10, open space or vacant land. Yes, I once made the mistake of building a house with farmland to the rear. It was great at first, but then the city decided they'd put a highway right behind my house. That didn't work for us, so we immediately listed the home for sale and we moved. You'll always want to carefully consider any home site that backs to open space, even if the land is zoned for single-family homes. Why? Because anyone can purchase that property and apply with the city to change the zoning. That means you could get condos, townhomes, or even an apartment complex built right behind your home. Or you could potentially get a department store, a gas station, a bar, movie theaters, or really anything like a highway. Don't say I didn't warn you. And there's one last thing I should mention. You may want to consider your location within the neighborhood. Do you want to be tucked deep inside the community, or would you prefer to be closer to the major roadways? I prefer to be closer to the exits because I'm always running from one place to another. But you may feel more secure being tucked away. And I guess that's just one more thing to think about. Also, I have one last piece of advice for those of you who want to get the biggest or best home site. Often, builders will have these huge master planned communities with dozens, if not hundreds of home sites. These home sites often come in many different shapes and sizes. For a variety of reasons, mostly financial, builders will release these lots in phases. When you look at the plat map, you may get excited about a home site that the builder hasn't released for sale yet. You may be tempted to wait for that home site to become available, but that comes with certain risk. Generally, I recommend not waiting for that home site to come available for several reasons. Number one, if you're in a hot market, home prices could increase several times before that lot comes available. Number two, the home builder could give that home site an outrageous lot premium that would change your mind. And number three, you may not get that lot anyway. Often, when there's an awesome home site, you'll have multiple people competing for it. For whatever reason, you may not be the one who ends up with that home site. I've personally witnessed a lot of heartbreak and anger, as this happens quite often in the new home construction industry. Building a home is fun and exciting, but There's a lot of things to consider, and that's why I've produced so many videos. I highly recommend watching my video, Top 10 Home Building Tips, when you're done with this video. If you're rip-roaring and ready to go, you may want to watch my video, How to Select a Home Builder. I'll put links to my recommended videos below. Is there something in this video that really stood out to you as being helpful? If so, what was it? Please let me know by commenting below. If you have questions or if I left something out, please help the community by leaving a remark below as well. Sincerely, I want to hear from you. If you know someone who's looking to build a home, be a friend by sharing this video with them. And please, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below and ring that bell to be notified each time I post new videos. Also, you can find me on Instagram at Ty the Real Estate Guy. If you found this information helpful, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to ring that little bell below. It'll make you feel good.